Hello, my sweet friend. I am Cristina Arevalo, cake business productivity coach and podcaster. I help cake makers like you manage your business productively and with ease, taking control of your time and workflow to avoid stress and burnt out. I offer personalized strategies and supportive community to help you stay organized, productive, and in charge of your success. Your cake business should bring you joy, not stress. I'm here to help you build an efficient, successful, and sustainable business without feeling overwhelmed and burned out. With the right planning, strategies, and mindset, you can reach your goals, stay organized, and enjoy the journey. Let's make your cake business work for you, not the other way around. Hi there. If you like this podcast and enjoy this episode, there's only one thing I ask from you. Please follow this podcast, download this episode, and leave me a started review in any of your favorite podcast platforms where you're listening to this show now. This way, the algorithm will show the podcast to more cake artists who will benefit from, and you'll be helping me grow this show. And don't forget to share it on social media and tag me, and I'll gladly follow you back. I would love to hear what you have to say. Leave me a comment on Spotify or answer any of the questions and polls on the episode. Let me invite you to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok as the Art Cake Coach, or follow the links on the show notes to find out more ways to stay connected. Visit www.theartcakecoach.com for more.
Well, hello, my sweet friends, and welcome to another episode of the Art K Coach podcast. Christina here. As always, super happy to have you all here for another episode of this podcast. Now, today we have another episode with a guest, and I'm bringing for you today Ruth Moore from the Creative Cake Club. Ruth is here to share with us all of her knowledge about social media. She has a beautiful Instagram page where she is always sharing information about how to work better with social media, and also, she talks about pricing, but this episode today is dedicated to social media and the creation of content for your cake business. So I have to thank Ruth for being with us here today. In other hand, I just wanted to say hello before the episode. And this week will be the Thanksgiving week for those who celebrate. And you know that I have been doing before a few episodes on being thankful for what we have. And I want to dedicate today's episode because it is Thanksgiving week to take a minute and think about the things that we are thankful for. I have said it before, I'm going to say it again. When we think about what we want, the goals that we want to achieve for the next year, now that 2025 is coming to an end, when we do that from a grateful perspective, thinking about what we have so far and just adding more blessings to our life instead of thinking of what we're lacking, what we don't have. The universe helps to make all of our goals come true and to give us all the tools and everything we need to achieve our goals. So let's just take a minute, think about what we're thankful for, and start planning the next year from a perspective of being grateful. And of course, I'm grateful for each one of you who takes the time to listen to this podcast every week. So thank you for being in the other side. Now I'm going to leave you with today's episode. Well, hello, my sweet friends, and welcome to another episode of the Art K Coach podcast. Christina here. I am super happy to have today with me Ruth Moore. Hello, Ruth. How are you doing today?
Hello. I'm good, thank you. Bit cold.
Excellent. Cold. Yeah, it is cold here too. Yeah, it's this storm thing going on that is coming. I mean, it came from Portugal. Now it's going up to the UK, and yeah, it's getting cold. It's getting cold. I love the cold though, so I'm happy that it's cold. Welcome to the show. So happy to have you here.
Thank you
I
for
was
having me.
talking to Ruth behind the scenes, and I was saying that I follow her on Instagram for a while now. I'm terrible at TikTok. Are you at TikTok?
I have not delved into TikTok yet. It's on my
Okay.
to-do list,
Okay, so
but
I'm not missing anything from you on TikTok because I
no.
cannot crack that app. I don't know why. I just can't. I feel more comfortable on Instagram. So I've been following her on Instagram. And as I said to her, I love all her messages when she talks about social media, about pricing to our fellow cake decorators, cake artists, bakers out there, because doesn't matter how much we talk about that, it seems to be always the same problem, right?
Mm.
With the social media and the pricing. So it's great to have you here and
Thank you for having me.
to share your wisdom with us today. Ruth, before we start, just tell us a little bit about yourself, about your
Mhm.
business. How did you start in this crazy sweet world?
Yeah, so I mean, I've always baked cakes. I know this is true for a lot of cake makers. Like I used to bake with my mum as a kid and would bake for friends and family, that sort of thing. And then I used to be a maths teacher, so completely different like field of work, which and I really enjoyed it. But I always had in the back of my head, like one day I'll do this cake business for real. And it wasn't until I had my son that I kind of realized whilst I was on maternity leave, like I actually didn't want to go back to working for someone else, working the like set hours that you have to as a teacher. And, like obviously the cost of childcare, all of that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
So when he was 3 months old, I started my cake business. I say that in like sort of inverted commas because me starting my cake business was opening an Instagram account for the first time. I never had Instagram, like personally, until then. And I posted one picture of a cake once a week.
That
And
was
that was my cake business.
it.
Like I only had the pictures of cakes that I'd made for friends and family. So I was kind of like, well, I can't post them too quickly, otherwise I'll run out of cakes to post. And
Oh,
so I
that's
was
good.
literally just once a week, I was just posting a picture describing the cake, and that was kind of it. And as you can imagine, that didn't really get me very many sales.
Yeah. But it's funny because we all kind of started like that,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good.
So yeah, maternity leave ended. I went back to teaching, but kind of had the cake business, running on the side. And then I had my second child 2 years later, and that was when I was kind of like, right, this is it. I do not want to go back to teaching. We were moving house, which meant I would have probably had to change schools, and I hate doing interviews. So I was like, I don't want to have to go and get another job in another school. So it was kind of the make or break moment, I guess.
Mm.
And so that's when I like transitioned into wedding cakes and really started to get my head down into how to actually grow the business and utilize Instagram properly and that sort of stuff. Because I had no other choice.
Yeah.
Um, and then, yeah, as sort of that was when was that? That was almost 3 years ago that we
Okay.
moved, and I sort of like quit my job. And then about a year and a half ago, the cake business was doing well. I kind of felt like I'd got my head around that, had bookings and orders for up to 2 years in advance. And I was finding that I was having lots of conversations with other wedding suppliers, other cake makers, kind of like, social media is just the worst thing in the world. Like, it's the worst part of the job. I just wanna bake cakes. I don't wanna have to be on this platform, but I have to because that's how you promote your business. And I found that I identified with those conversations because I had that exact same feeling when
Mhm.
I started the business. I absolutely hated social media. I'd leave it till the end of the day after looking after the kids, and then I would be tired. I had no idea what to post. And so, more often than not, I just wouldn't. And
Yeah.
I used to say to my husband, like, this is just the worst thing. I hate that I have to do this. Um, but then over time I was kind of like, okay, I need to learn how to do this because it's not going
Yeah.
away. And now I absolutely love it. And, I'm sort of posting 3 or 4 times a day across the 2 accounts. And I was kind of like, "Oh, if I've managed to take myself from loathing it to it actually feeling easy and fun and enjoyable, I wanna share that knowledge with other cake makers."
Yeah.
Because it does have to be done, but it's much better if you enjoy it then it just like you're having to drag yourself to your laptop to force yourself to like write a caption or like do some research and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of then what kickstarted this side of the business, where
Okay.
I just wanted to share that journey and the knowledge that I've picked up over the last couple of years of how you can go from loathing social media as much as I did to like doing it multiple times a week and enjoying it and it being easy and it getting obviously the stuff you want it to do, it getting the views, the engagement, the sales and all that sort of
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, amen to everything you said because it's so true. I think, I mean, when I talk to other cake decorators, cake artists, the thing they complain the most is, and I think is equally pricing and social media. And
Yeah,
it's that they just like everything you mentioned from,
yeah.
it's late at night. I just got into bed. Oh, I remember I had to post something. And
Yeah,
then you're
that was
posting
it.
something and you're thinking of the hashtag and you're thinking of the call to actions. And you're like, oh, whatever,
Yeah.
another chocolate cake, and you just post it, and that's
Yes.
it
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
your
Just buy
head is
cake
not.
from me.
Yeah, buy it up here. Yeah, and then it doesn't work. Of course, we know it
Yeah,
doesn't work.
yeah, yeah,
So cracking that, um, and it's funny because when we talk, we have talked, or I have talked before here on the show with other people about social media,
mm,
and they all talk about cracking the algorithm, cracking the
right,
secrets of social media. But I love that what you cracked was I'm gonna love this thing, and I'm gonna
yeah,
actually use it in my favor. Uh, which is not this constant fight with the algorithm and with whatever trend is going on. It's about, okay, how can I take the best advantage possible to this tool of this tool that I have in front of me? And like you mentioned,
yeah,
is necessary, is a
yeah.
free window for a work.
Mhm.
So yeah, of course. Oh, I love it. I love it. And I love that you share that wisdom with all of us. I have days. I have days that I think I have this figured out, and then I
Yeah,
have other weeks that I'm like, I don't want to do it.
and
So yeah,
I still do feel that, like, I
okay,
promise you, it's not just all, like, singing and dancing now. There are still
yeah,
definitely times, particularly when they, like, update the app or they change something.
mm.
All the buttons have moved recently, and now I'm, like, trying to
Yeah,
find my DMs, and it's just like,
it's
"Where is
true.
this button?"
Yeah,
Um,
and like you, I have three accounts, and in one account
mhm.
is in the top, and the other account is in the bottom. I'm like, where is it? I cannot
Yeah.
find it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
we have to keep updated. But
yeah,
when you find that love, we could say,
yeah.
that enjoyment doing
Mhm.
it, it's a different game.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, if what would you say to someone who wants to, because you started, well, I laugh because you started like all of us. In
Yeah.
my time, there was not even, I think, not even Facebook used. Nobody used Facebook. It was blogs. I had a blog. Like, who would look for cakes in a blog? But that's all I had.
Mhm.
I had a blog where I just posted the pictures, and it was like my aunt's cake, my cousin's cake,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
that's for family, and that was it. But
Yeah,
somehow he picked it up, and from that, it moved to the other platforms.
yeah.
But I mean, you lived it. You know that we all started the same way. Now that you cracked somehow, um, I'm not going to say the secrets of social media,
No,
but at least how to enjoy it.
yeah.
What would you say to someone who wants to start creating content and not feel so overwhelmed with the whole game, trying to be everywhere, trying to show
Mm.
up, trying to be consistent? What advice would you give to somebody who's in that position?
So, I suppose there's, like, a few things that
Hmm.
they need to kind of slowly over time get their head around. And this is that's the other thing to remember. Like, this isn't just, they're not going to listen to this podcast and then immediately be fine with content creation. Like, it
Hmm.
is always going to be a learning curve
Yeah.
because so much of it is about yourself and your enjoyment of it and how you approach it. But the first thing I would say is to not try and be everywhere, to pick one place that you can focus on. So for me, that was Instagram. And the thing that I really like about Instagram is that you can auto post to Facebook and now Threads. So
Mm,
you are technically in three places,
mm,
but I'm not doing any extra work. So I just post on Instagram and I have all the boxes that tick like post to Facebook, post to Threads. Um, so I feel like that's the first thing is don't try and do Pinterest and TikTok and Instagram and that sort of stuff. And again, this is stuff that I used to wrestle with. I was like, but I have to be everywhere because then I can get more eyes on my business and then that will lead to more sales. But actually, if what that means is you just feel overwhelmed, your posts either don't exist because you just can't possibly do that many,
Yeah.
or they're really rough and like not well thought out, then it doesn't matter that you're everywhere because your posts aren't going to be doing what they're supposed to. So for me, that was Instagram. I just clicked with it more. I started with it, and like you, I have kind of dipped into TikTok, and it's a different platform. It requires different things.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and another thing to think about is also where their ideal client would be. So for example, TikTok tends to skew younger.
Mm.
So I do think for wedding cakes, I will need to start thinking about TikTok because obviously that generation is starting to move into the age where they're getting married. Whereas Instagram and then particularly Facebook tend to lean older. So if you're a cake maker that kind of focuses on birthday cakes, you're maybe targeting mums, then you might actually find that Instagram and Facebook is where you want to be. So there is a degree of like, where is your client?
Hmm.
But in the end, pick a platform that you are going to work well with, because it doesn't matter if your client is somewhere else, because they will be everywhere. But what matters is that you're doing it. And
Mm.
so at least to begin with, you want to find the path of least resistance. So find the
Yeah.
one that gels with you the best. And so for me, that was Instagram.
Uh-huh.
And then once you've picked that one place, it is not about trying to do as much as you can. It is about refining your process and making sure that your posts have a purpose. That was the
Mm.
biggest thing that clicked for me. And like almost instantly has changed how easy it is for me to make posts, even on the days where I haven't actually pre-planned, or I've like been really busy, like I've got multiple cakes that week and I'm just kind of like quickly having to try and do stuff. The reason I can still keep up with posting is because I've changed the way I think about a post, and
Mm.
every post has a purpose. And if you start with that, the post kind of then follows. Um, so what I kind of teach my clients is there are three types of posts that you want to be hitting. So generally, I say an ideal amount is to be posting 3 times a week, because then you're hitting each one of those posts every week. You can post more, you can post less, but that's kind of like an ideal point. So you want growth posts, nurture posts, and then sales posts.
Mm.
But each one of those things is doing something different. And by thinking about that, by thinking about your posts in different, with different purposes, it helps you come up with what that post is going to do. So, for example, a growth post is all about those views. That's the one that we all obsess about. That's the one where we're like, why has this post not got lots of views? But it might be because actually that post wasn't a growth post. And so it's not supposed to get lots of views.
Mhm.
Um, and again, that really helped as well, because when I was posting a sales post, for example, and sales posts do not get high views because people don't want to be sold to. That's not why they come to social media. They're there to be social, to be entertained, to be educated. But obviously, we have to do the sales posts. Um, it changed the way I felt about it when it didn't get as high views, because that wasn't its purpose. And so again, I wasn't coming away from that post going, "Oh, that post was rubbish." Because no, it did what it was supposed to. It got me 2 bookings. Yeah, it only got shown to 500 people, but I got bookings from it, so that post did what it was supposed to. And so that kind of switch as well, again, it's just coming back to that, finding that least path of least resistance and changing the way that you're approaching social media. It is not just about putting out as many posts as possible. It is not about getting as many views as possible, because actually not every post is trying to get views. And so those are the two things that often make people quit, because they burn out because they're trying to do too much. And they also burn out because it doesn't look like it's doing what it's supposed to. But actually, that's because we only measure stuff by followers and views. And that's not the intention of every post.
Yeah. It's
So, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm writing here, I'm writing some things down because uh when you talk about the purpose of each post, and I
Hmm.
think that's one of the biggest confusion of
of the people who's using the social media as a platform, we believe, and I put myself into that category because I just found that out recently, that yes, not all posts are here for the same purpose. And
Mhm.
we try to measure the results generally when, yeah, maybe, I mean, what you mentioned was key. People are there for entertainment. And of course, the entertaining ones, the personal ones, a
Mhm.
selfie,
Yeah.
or I don't know, you post that you went out with some cake friends and you did something fun, that goes to the roof. When if you're just talking about your next membership, wah,
Mm.
wah. It's like, oh, come
Yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah.
I want the same engagement, but they're different posts
Yeah.
and it's a different measure. I love that. I love that because um, it's good to think
Yeah.
about the results from that point of view. You're
Yeah.
not going to get the same results from one and another. That's great. You mentioned planning. I have other
Yeah.
questions here, but I want to go back to the planning because you mentioned that you plan what you're going to do.
Mhm.
One of the things that most of the cake decorators, cake artists I work with complain is about the time that it takes for planning.
Yeah.
So, how do you do it? Do you do it like weekly, monthly? I don't know. How do you
So
organize your posts?
yes, yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So I've almost tried it in lots of different ways, and
Hmm.
again, I would suggest that this is a bit of a trial and error because every person is different, and so some people again, and it also depends on your timetable. Like obviously, if you're doing this alongside a full time job, that sort of stuff,
Mm,
but you want to kind of find the way that works best for you. So for me, I find that I will either weekly or monthly pick a kind of topic or sort of something that I'm going to be focusing on, for example. Um and so for like my wedding cake business, well, 3 times a year I have tasting boxes go out. So there will be like a month where the focus is tasting boxes,
mm,
obviously telling people about the fact that I have tasting boxes, showing them what they look like, and also I will sell some as well. So I don't just send them to the couples. I will sell anyone who wants to buy one before they actually book me. They can order a tasting box. So that kind of gives me like an overarching focus for the month.
mm,
And then within that, I will then think about, okay, I need my growth, my nurture, my sales posts. So obviously my sales posts are going to be where I say, book this tasting box. And I'm going to lean heavily into those sales posts as it gets closer to the deadline that I need to sell those boxes. And
mm,
this would be true for like Christmas bakes and that sort of stuff as well. But before then, I need to warm my audience up. I need people to be ready to actually want to buy them. You can't just put up a post and say, tasting boxes are ready to order. Does anyone want one? Because people are like, oh, what? Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll
yeah,
think
like
about
what you're talking about. I didn't know you made tasting boxes.
exactly.
Yes, exactly. Hmm.
And so that kind of like overarching topic and then thinking about those three styles of post help me sort of in my head
Hmm.
plan out either a week or a month. It depends obviously on what the thing is,
Hmm.
but what that kind of idea is going to be. So it might be that 4 weeks prior to the deadline to order, I will start doing some kind of growth posts. So I'll be doing flavor focuses and, did you know that I offer tasting boxes? Like those sorts of things where it's just like telling people they exist. I'm not trying to
Hmm.
sell them. I'm not telling them that they need to order or anything like that. It's just kind of making them aware. And then as I get closer to the deadline, I will then start mixing those up with growth and then more focused on the nurture type posts, which are this is what's in the tasting box, FAQs, getting them to know me and that sort of stuff. The behind the scenes, like what goes into making that tasting box. And I'll maybe do like one sales post a week at that point.
Hmm.
And then as it moves through closer to the deadline, that's when I'm kind of more now into just nurture and sales. I'm not trying to find people anymore because it's too late.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not
Yeah.
trying to grow the account anymore, as
Okay.
in grow the eyes for tasting boxes. I'm now just into this is what they are. This is why you want to buy one. Buy one.
Okay. Okay. That's great because when we don't organize our posts, when we
Mm.
don't follow any structure, um I mean, that's when people, I guess, get discouraged. Like
Yes.
they leave it to the last minute. Oh, but I just showed that I'm doing Christmas cookies. Yeah, but
Yep.
you showed them on the 15th of December. Maybe people already had.
Absolutely done that.
Yeah, well, me too. I'm talking by experience.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
been
yeah,
there,
yeah.
done that. Absolutely. Sometimes I'm so caught up in other things that I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know, like I'm thinking of doing a goal setting challenge
Mhm.
for my audience, and
Yeah.
I had everything organized. And with
Mhm.
all of this craziness going on in my life right now, I was
Yeah.
telling Ruth that my kitchen is getting remodeled. I forgot. I totally
Yeah.
forgot about starting
Yeah.
talking about that. And I was like, okay, I was planning to do it for December. I said, well, no, it has to be moved to January because
Yeah.
they don't even know that I'm doing this. So how I'm
Yeah.
going to show up now, like sign for next week? We have it's like crazy. But yeah,
Yeah.
I love that structure. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm a
So
structure person. I'm a
yes.
planning
Yeah.
person. So I love it.
And
Great.
that's what I mean, like, it will work differently for different
Yeah.
people. So
Hmm.
that's kind of what I do when I've got a specific thing that I'm about to sell. So that would be like for Christmas bakes, Valentine's bakes, tasting boxes, that sort of thing. More
Hmm.
generally, this is kind of how my social media planner got born. So people can buy this on my website.
Okay.
It's just an Excel document where I basically have created a planner that will autofill once you have come up with your big topics.
Oh, great.
So, because
Awesome.
I found that, again, my biggest thing, as you've just said, is you come to post, you're like, oh, I need to post, but I've not planned anything. I've not got any structure. That at the same time, I was finding that I couldn't stick to like once a week, I'll sit down and plan my week. Like I tried that and it just didn't work for me because if the kids, I don't know, woke up earlier than they were supposed to, or like something came up, or I had multiple cakes that week, I just didn't have the time to sit
Hmm.
down and plan. So that's kind of where this social media planner got born, where I was like, okay, what I need is a document so that when I ask myself the question, what do I post? It's already there.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is basically like how this got created because I was like, I just never know what to talk about. And
Mhm.
I also suffer as well from like, oh, well, I've already talked about that, so I can't talk about it again. And that's something I've had to really like overcome because obviously not everyone is seeing your posts. And so
Yeah.
it genuinely doesn't matter if you repeat yourself.
Yeah, the repurposing thing, it's so
Yes.
good.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
mhm.
So I was like, "Oh, I just need something that I can like just look at and go, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna talk about that today." So the kind of overview of it is you come up with 10 big vague topics. And so by that I kind of mean like FAQs is a topic. Um about me is a topic. Obviously cake pictures like is a topic.
Mhm.
It's kind of you break your business down into 10 very vague areas because then what you do within each one of those is you get slightly more specific. So you come up with 5 things that fit within that topic. So FAQs, come up with 5 FAQs. Do you deliver? Do you cater for allergies? When do I need to book? How do I pay? Like those sorts of things. And then
Mhm.
or about me, it was kind of like, okay, well, there are different aspects of my life. So why did I start the business is one area in that my family life, the fact that I've got 2 kids and the fact that I used to be a maths teacher is a third thing. So I kind of just within these 10 big topics, I then broke it down into like 5 slightly more specific things. And then what this planner does, you put all of this in, and then by magic, it fills out 10 to 16 weeks, depending if you want to post 3 times or 5 times a
Wow.
week.
Yeah.
It just fills it out so that you have 10 to 16 weeks worth of post ideas just planned.
Oh my god, you so I mean, I'm buying one.
It's like
I'm getting
I was like,
one.
"Oh my gosh, I've created magic."
You did. Oh, Ruth, this is amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody listening because again,
Yes.
it's one of the most
Yeah.
complaint well, I mean, it's the complaint that I get the most from
Mhm.
everybody. Groups, coaches, coachees, podcasts, I mean everybody. So, the social media, I don't know what to do. Come on, Ruth has the solution
Yeah.
for all
Yeah,
of
yeah,
us. Ruth, I think I'm gonna buy one of those because and it's funny because I do have a time management planner who has a little
yeah.
small section about
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
social, but it's just a little. It's just to get your head and like you have to post. That's
Yeah,
it. But
yeah.
what you have sounds like truly magic.
Yeah,
So,
like,
yeah,
it is,
yeah.
and you put today's date in, and it will fill in all the dates of every week, so that when
Mhm.
you get to the end, you just go back to the top, change the date, and you do it all again.
Amazing.
But you do it in a slightly different way, or
Mhm.
this is now 3 months later since you started the planner, you just do it again, like,
Exactly, that's it.
you've gained new followers, people have not remembered what you posted 3 months ago,
Mm-mm.
like, you can literally just, like, cycle through it, so I found that that really broke me out of the pattern of, I don't know what to post today. So
Yeah.
you spend 20 minutes thinking of what to post, then you spend 20 minutes finding the perfect picture, then you spend 20 minutes trying to think about the caption. And it's like, oh my gosh, this one post took me an hour. And then the app crashes. And then you're like, I'm not posting
I'm
today.
not
This
posting again.
uh,
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God. I'm gonna leave the links for your social media planner
yeah,
here on the notes of the episode. This could be the best Christmas gift you can give to yourself.
yeah,
Because for next year,
absolutely.
come on. I'm trying to get everybody
Yeah,
organized for next year. I think and I'm gonna be one of those for definitely.
yeah,
Anything that saves me time, I'm for it. Now,
yeah,
there's another you're talking about it make it I mean, it like you s- I'm going to buy it for everything you said. Now, there's one thing I don't have any issues with, but a lot of people have issues with that, which is not only the picture, but when they have to show themselves, they have to
yeah,
show up online. A lot of people,
yeah,
a lot of cake makers, our work is very, I'm not going to say lonely, but yeah, as we're alone
yeah,
in our house, in our kitchen, in our studio working, it's just us and
yeah.
we're half of the time we are in our heads,
Yeah,
overthinking everything. So
absolutely.
when they're going to show in camera, they start overthinking everything, like the
Oh,
way I
yeah,
look, the way I sound, how should I
yeah,
speak, the light, the camera. I don't have the phone, I don't have the microphone, I don't have
yeah,
the light ring or whatever. What advice can you give to anybody who's suffering from being shy
yeah.
to show up? And is it important to show up for your business, your face? Like, hey, it's me.
Yes, yeah.
Mhm.
So, absolutely it is important, and
Mhm.
I know that it's not what people wanna hear,
Mm-mm.
and again, I used to suffer from this so, so much, like, I'm a recovering perfectionist, um,
I like that.
and, like, obviously, we are as cake makers, we are people pleasers.
Mm.
Like, we literally have do a job that just gives people cake and joy.
Yeah,
Like, we
yeah.
are people pleasers by nature, and so it can feel really, really vulnerable
Mm.
to show up as yourself on, Instagram, social media, but it is so important. I know that this is said quite a lot in the kind of, Instagram world, but people buy from people,
Mhm.
and particularly when people have questions like, oh, that cake maker down the road is selling her cakes for half the price, or like, there are so many cake makers in my area. How can I possibly compete? What you actually need to be selling is yourself, because that cake maker down the road is not you. And you may think that their cakes are better, but there will be something about you as a person that connects
Yep.
with your audience. Like my about me type posts, where I just give a bit of like my hobbies and that sort of stuff, always, always get me a booking,
Mm.
because someone has identified with something in those posts, and it's like most of the time there's not even a picture of a cake in the post,
Yeah.
but they're like, "Oh yeah, you get me. I want you as my wedding cake maker,"
Mm.
because they have that connection. And like my
Mhm.
favorite clients, my favorite cakes, we have connected on more than just, "Oh, we need a cake."
Yes.
And it's because I have forced myself to come out of my shell and start showing myself. So, and to answer your question, is it important? Yes, it is
Mm.
super, super important. Like, there are tons of cake makers around. There will be some cheaper, there will be some the same price, but they cannot be you. And so
Yeah.
that is your unique selling point,
Mhm.
is is yourself.
Yeah.
Particularly um as the world changes, and especially if you're in wedding cakes, because people are starting to skew younger as they get married. Um that generation is moving into the marriageable age, they care more about the person
Yeah.
and connecting and relatability than perhaps the slightly older generation. Again, it does depend on your client, but yeah, it's super important to sell yourself.
Yeah.
So then in terms of, okay, well, how do you do that if you're terrified? There's kind of two things I'd say. The first thing is you like confidence doesn't happen first.
Mm,
You don't wait until you're confident and then go and do the thing. You
mhm,
have to do the thing first, and then you do get confident. And it
mhm.
is just trusting that process. So for example, one thing that I've started doing this week on the Creative Cake Club account is talking head reels. So where I'm talking to the camera
Okay.
because I hate the sound of my voice. I suffer with all of that same I will not be able to listen to this podcast episode.
Ah, you will.
Um, I really, really struggle with that kind of stuff.
Mhm,
And obviously, with talking heads, you have to edit it, so you have to listen to it. So I've set myself the challenge of doing one talking head reel every single day, and it is just about I'm just going to do it, and it's going to be horrible. I'm probably going to hate every moment of it, but after this, I will probably feel so much more confident with it
mhm.
because I realized that the world hasn't burnt down and I haven't just had 10 people jump onto my comments saying, "Oh, you look like an idiot," and what you're
Yeah,
saying
nobody's gonna say that. Yeah, true.
exactly. So it's that kind of idea of you can't wait for the confidence. You have to
Mhm.
do the thing first
Yep.
and then the confidence will come.
Yeah.
So you can either do like me, just literally throw yourself in the deep end and just force yourself to start doing like talking reels. Stories is a really good place to
Mhm.
try that out because they're only there for 24 hours.
Yeah.
So it's not there forever. You can kind of like, oh, for 24 hours, people are seeing my face and then it's gone.
Yeah.
So that's a really, really good place to do like
Mhm.
talking heads and more your face on the camera. The other way to do it is just start off small. So it could be as simple as at first you just do some behind the scenes that kind of have like your hands in it so that it's just telling your audience that actually there is a person behind that cake. Like the
Okay.
cake didn't just magically appear. We're so used to kind of convenience and fast food and all of that sort of stuff that we can actually forget the time taken that
Mm.
like goes into a cake. And so even just something like that is quite simple to remind your audience that, oh yeah, this is actually handmade. Like literally there are hands making this.
Making it, yeah.
Um and then like try that maybe for like a few videos and then have a go at maybe doing a kind of like side profile where they sort of you sort of dip into view every now and then. So you're
Mhm.
not like on the camera all the time. And then you just but you keep working yourself up basically. So that's what I did on my cake account a few years ago is I started with behind the scenes with my hands and then behind the scenes where I would occasionally like appear in shot just because I had to lean closer or whatever. So they got a bit of my face. And then I did slightly more wide view behind the scenes where they could actually see all of me in my icing sugar covered apron and like hair tied back and everything like that making a cake and then obviously to the point now where I'm like right okay I need to actually start doing talking heads and so now I'm at the point where I've got the experience that I know that if I just throw myself in, it will be okay in the end.
Yeah, yeah, nothing is gonna happen. Actually,
Yeah,
it benefits your business.
it
You see
does,
better
it does.
results,
Yeah,
and it's so true what you mentioned because the audience, yeah, the target audience who is on Instagram and who is on TikTok, this generation, they want connection.
yeah,
That's what they want. They don't
yeah.
want just magically. And another thing, I've talked about this before, is while we do that, we're educating our customer that
Mhm.
yes, there's a person behind
Yeah,
this, there's a business behind it. Um, it's not just a real, where you have a piece of I don't know, two eggs and a package of flour, and
yeah,
suddenly magically
yeah,
a cake appears. No, it's a process,
yeah,
and so I think it's a win-win
yeah,
for everyone. And yeah, the world doesn't end. Nobody's gonna critique you. And if they do, once I had this conversation with a friend, because she has a big following, and for some, I mean, for I don't know what reason, people start criticizing her eyebrows.
Mm,
because she doesn't have eyebrows, so she has to
okay.
draw her eyebrows. And some days were in one shape, the other days were in a different shape. And she was
Yeah.
like, "Why are they talking about my eyebrows if I do cakes?" Say, they're watching. At
Yeah.
least they're watching.
Yeah.
And they're there. They're talking about you. So just forget about your eyebrows and be thankful that they're watching. When there's critics, when there's somebody saying something, it's because they're watching. That's
Yeah.
good. It's a good thing. Yeah.
They're also helping with engagement because
Yeah.
every time they comment on your post, it
Yeah.
tells the algorithm that people liked it, so there's
Exactly.
good
And the
traffic.
more they comment on things like that, more people's
Yeah.
gonna jump in like, "No, she's great. Stop talking about her." Whatever. Jean, if you're listening, we're talking about you, and you're gorgeous no matter what. But yeah, it's just that. It's
Mm,
showing up. I have to say, I've seen way better engagement when I show my face than
yeah.
when I don't. So
Yeah.
I know it's important, but I know a lot of people have this issue of, if I show my face, people's gonna see me, and I don't know, and I'm shy.
Yeah.
I love that you said to show up, and then you get used to it. It's because it's
Yeah.
basically that. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, Britt, I have another question
Mhm.
because we talked about showing up. We talked about how to organize your post, how to plan everything. But sometimes we make mistakes when
Mhm.
we are trying to make things work.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we think we should be doing, or that everybody says, "Oh, you should do this or you have to do that," that is actually hurting our views and our conversion on social media?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
I'm just sort of thinking about the things that, all the Instagram gurus tell you to do.
Yeah.
Mm,
And
I
is
think
there a hurt? I guess my question will be
mm.
more, is there anything that actually hurts, or it's only a learning curve? I don't know. I don't know. Tell me
I
about
mean,
that.
yeah, it is all a learning curve. And again, I think it will be different for each person. So the one thing that's coming into mind is, and this was more true like a sort of a year ago or whatever, where everyone was kind of saying when you post, you need to like be on the platform 15 minutes before doing
Ah, I
engagement, and then you
remember
do
that.
your post, and then you have to do more engagement afterwards. The whole kind of like don't post and ghost.
Mhm.
So, like the platform wants to know you're there. So you have to be present when you do the post. And what I found for me was that turned posting into like 15 minutes before, 15 minutes after. That takes me 30 minutes to do this post. And I'm trying to do this every day, 3 times a week. Like that's not even including making the post.
Mm.
And I found that again was stopping me from posting because I would be like, "Oh, I don't have the time to do the engagement, so there's no point in doing the post because I'm not gonna maximize it getting views and all that sort of stuff."
Mhm.
And so I would say in that instance, if there is advice that you are hearing, but that advice is preventing you from posting because, again, you're stuck
Mm.
in that perfectionist cycle where I was telling myself, if I can't do this engagement before and after, then my post won't be maximized for
Mhm.
views. Therefore, there's no point in me posting. I just wouldn't post. And so, actually, that advice was hurting my business because it was preventing me from posting. So that's where I would say, and it will be different for different people, but if you are telling yourself, I should be doing this thing, and whatever that is actually stopping you from posting, don't do that thing. So, like nowadays, I post and ghost. I put my post up and I have to walk away because
Okay.
otherwise I'm checking the views in like 10 minutes and I'm like, oh, why are there only 100 views? And it's like, it's literally been up for 10 minutes.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
so, so for me to be able to keep posting, I have to walk away when I post and then come back to it later.
And have you seen like a big damage because of that? No.
Well, no, because
Mm.
now I'm posting consistently and frequently. And because I have taken the time to do that over a period where I now, my posts have purpose, my posts are doing what they're supposed to, it's not harming my posts
Yeah.
because it didn't stop me from posting. Like, that is the biggest harm. You need to find whatever is preventing you from posting
Mhm.
and like, do it. So, for example, we were just talking about, oh, should you show your face?
Mhm.
If you are getting to the point where you're like, oh, I'm not going to post today because it was supposed to be a person post and I just can't put my face out. I'd rather you just went and got a picture of a cake or something without you in it. Still do a post.
Yeah.
Like, don't let the shoulds be the prevention, the thing that stops you from posting, because
Mhm.
that's just harming. Because in the end, posting is the best thing you can do,
Yeah.
even if it's bad. Like, if no one sees it, no one sees it. It literally doesn't matter. If it
It
gets
doesn't
bad
matter because it's not
reviews,
there.
no one
Yeah.
saw it.
Yeah.
Um, so, like, even if it goes wrong, it doesn't matter because, like, 10 people maybe saw it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, that's where I would say shoulds can be harmful if you're
Mhm.
not posting because you're not doing the should.
Okay. Oh, I
So
love that. I love that you make it sound like good and simple. I love that. I love that. It's like just post. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Just
yeah, like,
posting.
just post.
Yeah. I have a question. It's not on the questions that I program, but you were talking, I was thinking about me,
Mhm.
those 50 minutes and things stuff, because
Yeah,
I do stay in the platform, but I do something that distracts me a lot. And time management is my thing,
yeah,
but I post, and then magically, because that's what this algorithm does, I just start scrolling.
yeah,
And I
doom
lost myself in
yeah.
scrolling and looking at everybody else. When I look at the clock, it's being half an hour. I'm like, what am I doing? I haven't done anything. So, what can I do to prevent that from happening? Or is that actually helping? I don't know.
Um, I mean, so the reason that people would say, like, beyond before and after is so
Mm.
that you can engage with comments that are on your post, and it's just to kind of help it's to help your own post in
Mhm.
the algorithm. So doom scrolling is not helping your post.
No, it's not helping mine.
No. Um, but so I suppose, like, a really easy fix for that would be to schedule your posts, because
Uh-huh.
then you're not on when your post goes out.
Uh-huh.
And so obviously if you schedule I schedule about 50% of my posts. Um, and again, like, it doesn't matter that I'm not there when they're released. It's not affecting the views or the engagement, whatever it's supposed to be doing. Um, so yeah, I would say that's one easy fix because you
Uh-huh.
don't fall into that trap of post a reel and then it takes you to the real feed, and then yeah, you're just scrolling through it. The other thing is set timers,
Yeah.
because obviously sometimes, like, I do want to sit down and I want to scroll my feed for research purposes, to see what's kind of working currently, trending audios, that sort of stuff. But it's so, like, it's made to keep you
It's
there.
made to do
Like,
that. Yeah.
it's very good at its job.
It is very good. That's what I said every time
Yeah,
because, yeah, I have all my time schedule, everything organized. Like, this is the time I'm dedicating to that because I love that.
yeah,
And then when I look at myself, it's like, what?
yeah,
I just have been scrolling for half an hour. It's like, come on.
yeah.
No. Why?
So
Why did I fall in the trap?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I will quite often set research or, like, things where I have to go and just sit and, like, real feed, like,
Mm-hmm.
scrolling and stuff. I would tend to do that, like, 10-15 minutes before I have to go pick up the kids,
Mm-hmm.
because I have an alarm to remind myself to go pick up the kids.
Don't forget about your children. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Good.
But obviously, when that alarm goes off, there's no option for me to be like, "Oh, just 5 more minutes." It's like
Exactly.
I have to go. I have to go and get my
Exactly.
children.
Yeah.
And so it's also like, maybe sort of choosing when you do that scrolling
Mm-hmm.
with I have to stop at this point.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, like,
Yeah.
that's kind of the things that come to mind, but it's so, like, we all do it. We all doom scroll.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I don't
Um,
feel that bad. It's not just me.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Very good. It's not just me. You already mentioned that if you post like 3 times a week
yeah.
and you
Mhm.
do it in different ways,
Yeah.
at least you will be consistent.
Mhm.
When you talk about those different ways, you meant like a reel or a post or carousel. We keep hearing this from the gurus and
Yeah.
on on social media like this I don't know, this year the carousels is the thing, or this
Mhm.
year videos are the thing, and this year, and that create a little bit of overwhelm in people like,
Yeah.
okay, so am I supposed to be doing everything?
Yeah.
What do I do? How do you keep that balance? Is it true there is something better than the other, or should I keep a balance?
So, like, in terms of, again, thinking about the different purposes of the
Mhm.
posts or for
Okay.
growth, nurture, sales, growth posts, generally, you want to be video.
Okay.
Um, but recently, Instagram has started pushing carousels more as well. As long as they have audio with them, you can now add audio to your carousels. Um, but yeah, so I would always say that generally video, short 5 to 7 second video is going to be your growth post. So I don't tend to think about it in the type of post, as in reels, carousels, that sort of stuff. I tend to just think about it in terms of growth, nurture, sales. So for me personally, I do not know why, but carousel posts take me forever to make. I will spend ages on a carousel post. I think like trying to get all the text in the right place. And I've made templates and stuff, but it just always takes me so much longer to make a carousel than it does a reel. So I would say like 95% of my posts are reel posts because again, that's what works for me. And it comes back to this, it doesn't matter what you should be doing. Do whatever gets you posting. So again, for me, I tried the whole like I'll do one reel and I'll do one carousel,
Mhm.
and but I found that every time it came to the carousel day, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't be bothered to make this. And I'd try and make them in advance. And like, yeah, carousel posts take me forever.
Yeah.
So I tend to only do carousel posts, one, if I've got lots of time, or if I feel like, no, this is a piece of information, or I want to display this post as a multi picture thing.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I'd say 95% of my stuff is reels, and it's more just about thinking about the purpose of those posts, not how they're delivered. I would generally say do not do a single picture post anymore.
Yeah.
Uh, so,
We see
like,
less and less of those.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's because they don't get as much views. So again, carousel posts will now show up in the like For You page, the explore page on Instagram, which wouldn't be before. If they've
Mm.
got audio, they can end up in the reel feed as well. So that's like it's all just helping, get slightly more views.
Mhm.
But with carousel posts, if someone doesn't like your first picture or doesn't do anything with your post, they just scroll by, Instagram will show them the second slide.
Ah, it's true.
So by
Yeah.
having a carousel post, you are giving your post 2 chances to be
Mhm.
shown to that person. Once they've interacted with it, then Instagram's like, "Okay, this person has seen this post." But whereas if you've got a single picture, if they don't do anything with that picture, that's it, it's gone. So I would always do at least 2 slides. If you're gonna do a static post, just do at least 2 slides, even if one is like the picture of a cake that you want to show, and the second one is a different angle of the same cake,
Yeah.
or just order by DMing, or like just something so
Yeah.
that you've got those 2 chances to be shown.
Mhm.
But yeah, I would not say the type of post, you don't have to stick to a rigorous schedule. It's whatever is best for you. So for
Yeah.
me, that is reels. I find it really easy to just grab a video, put some text on, pick a trending audio, and write a caption.
Oh,
I
that's
found
great.
carousels take me so much longer. I think it's because I have to do them on my laptop. I find them too fiddly,
Yeah.
move all the words around and stuff.
Yeah, it's true. I use Canva to do the
Yeah, I used
carousels because yeah, it's on the phone is too much for me. Yeah.
because I've tried, because Instagram does now let you add text to your
Mhm.
pictures.
Yeah.
So I have tried making carousels in Instagram, but I find that when I post them, the words are like stretched.
Yeah, and
Um,
it's like you
it
try to
doesn't look
place them
nice.
in one place and they show up in a different one. It's not that 100%
Yeah,
accurate, I will say. So yeah, but
yeah,
I mean that's great tip because it's not just okay. I have to do a carousel of 5 slides explaining something. Only by putting two pictures, Instagram will show the first or the second. I think that's a great tip. That's a great takeaway for everyone.
yeah.
Um, you already mentioned your I was gonna ask you about batching content, but I think is pointless now because you talk about your amazing planner. So that's where you can batch
That
your
is my
content.
batching. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Magically you can batch a lot of things together. So there you go.
yeah.
You can do that. Um, what advice would you give to a person who's starting today? Like maybe this let's call her I don't know Anna, she baked a cake, a couple of cakes. She has been baking cakes, and her friends are telling her, you should sell those cakes because they're
Mm,
so good. And she's like, maybe I will start a business. And
yeah.
since everybody's on social media, um, why not? Let me try it out. What advice would you give to Anna?
So I would say start small. Again, kind of like what we said at the beginning, pick just one platform. So let's say Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Um, don't like accept that it is going to be slow at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So you often also will have this kind of snowball effect, particularly with like followers. I can remember still the desperation to get to 100 followers on
Yeah.
my cake account. It just feels so like, oh, I've only got 32 followers and everyone's
Yeah.
looking at me and stuff. And like just accept that that first bit is kind of going to be painful, probably for a few months. Um, but to just keep sticking with it. Um, and yeah, I can still remember now when I actually finally reached 100 followers, I was so happy.
I know. I know. Same here. Same here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, so yeah, start small, be kind to yourself, and I would say really try and think about what type of cake you wanna sell. I would say at the beginning of your business, it's not so much about learning the tricks of social media. That does have to come later. The first thing you need to do is actually work out who you're talking to and what you're selling. And this kind of comes back to, like showing your face and you being a unique cake maker. When in the first 2 years of my business where I was just taking any order, and, I'd be lucky if it was kind of over £100 and that sort of stuff. It was only once we moved and I was like, "Right, I wanna move into wedding cakes, but I don't want wedding cakes that are just white with flowers on because I find that boring to
Mm.
make." Um, if people like that, I'm more than happy for you to have that for your wedding, but don't ask me to do it.
That's good. That's good. Just
Yeah,
stick
yeah,
to your work. Yeah.
exactly, and so it was only when I kind of made that decision to be like, "Actually, I don't really wanna do birthday cakes anymore. I'm just gonna focus on wedding cakes. I'm gonna focus on wedding cakes that are not ordinary," as it were, that I saw my business, like, take off, and it was because I committed to
Mm.
that niche, essentially, and I know, like, lots of people talk about niching, um, but yeah, it's just that kind of idea of you do have to know what you're selling and who you're selling to. Because when you first start, I think cake makers are guilty of, well, I just want to make cakes. And it's like, well, actually, no. Once you've made a few cakes, you know which ones you enjoy and you know which ones you hate. And so lean into that. Like actually pick that and go, okay, well, I hate buttercream cakes or I hate fondant cakes. So it's like, so commit to that. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. You will actually get better paying orders and like enjoy your job for longer if you are just doing the cakes that you want to. Um, and like putting out the cakes that you want to sell. So
Yeah.
that's the first thing I'd say a new cake maker needs to get their head around is what cakes do you want to make? And maybe you don't know to begin with. So take every order, see what happens.
Until
But
you figure it out. Yeah.
yeah, set
Mhm.
yourself like a few months, 6 months, have a go with different cakes, decide which ones you actually really, really enjoy, and then like make that your business.
Yeah.
It is such a difference going from a cake maker to the cake maker that makes these cakes.
Oh, yeah.
And that is such a difference. Like when I go to a wedding fair, for example, there's 3 or 4 other cake makers, but my stand is so different to theirs
Yeah.
because we are doing completely different cakes. And there will be people that look at my stand and go, "Mm, no, I don't want that."
Yeah, like, "No, I don't want that for my wedding." Yeah.
Yeah, 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 and they'll go over to the buttercream cake artist with beautiful, like, flowers on the top, and they'll go and book with her, and that's absolutely fine because I don't wanna make those cakes. But then there will be people that see my cakes and they're like, "Oh, wow, I didn't realize you could do that with it. I, like, didn't think a wedding cake could look like that." And then they'll book with me, and, like, it's made such a difference to my business moving from a cake maker to the cake maker that makes X cakes.
Yeah.
Like, that's the biggest thing I would say when you're starting out, you need to pick.
Yeah, yeah, it's yeah, I mean, I think we could not finish the episode with a better note because everything you said is on point. We all
Mm.
started doing so many things, and
Yeah.
I mean, when I started, it was cake, cookies, cupcakes, cake pops,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
weddings, celebrations, christenings, buttercream. Well, by the time it was much buttercream, but there were some people who liked some piping in it, and it was but I hated wedding cakes. Like,
Mm.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
Wedding cakes were not my thing.
Yeah.
And I determined very early in my business, like, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't like it. I don't like dealing with brides. I don't like
Yep.
having to go to the venue and set everything. I get very nervous about the structure and about everything else. No, I love my crazy celebration cakes, birthday cakes. That's what I do. And until I did that change, that's when it's like, oh, this is the lady who does the funny characters, whatever, birthday cakes. Yes, that was me. And it's so true. But we have to figure that out first
You
when we
do, yeah,
start.
and
Yeah.
it does
It
take
it
time.
it takes a little bit of time. At least try it out, right?
Yeah.
And I love what you said about the fair because it's like a tangible example that
Mm.
it is true. Everything we keep telling everybody about this is actually true. People recognize you for a specific
Yeah.
product, and they will go. I mean, you will get the clients that will pay for your
Yep.
product, that will
Absolutely.
love your product, that will not complain because that's what they want. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I love it. I love it. Ruth, I know you do work a lot with pricing as well, but I think we're going to
Mhm.
have to leave it for another episode because this was packed with social media. So
Yeah.
I'm leaving here. I'm giving you again another invitation to come to the show,
Yeah.
just to talk about pricing because that's
Yeah.
the other issue that everybody complains about.
I mean, and it ties so much in with marketing
It
because
does,
you can raise your prices, but if your marketing isn't on point, then no one's gonna pay
yeah.
them. But also, if you're doing really great marketing, you might find that you're, like, overbooked, but you're not raising your prices, and so, yeah, they
And then
go
the
really.
overwhelm comes. People, yeah, the stress, the tire. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. It's true. So there is a promise. There's going to be a part two of this episode at some point. So good, but so good. I mean, everything you shared with us today about social media and even I had to. I got some takeaways from today. I keep writing on my notes like, "Oh, this is good." You know, the growth, the features, the sales post. I like that, and I'm gonna check out your planner, and I will be leaving the link in the descriptions of this episode for everyone. Now, Ruth, before you go, you cannot leave without the question that I ask all the cake artists that come here to my show. If you could bake and decorate
Mhm.
a cake for anybody, dead or alive, who would that be? And what would that cake look like?
Ooh. Oh, that is a very, very interesting question.
Yeah. We don't ask ourselves that question.
Mm.
Yeah. Like total
I
freedom. Anybody.
I feel like at the moment, I think this is just because the film came out today, but
Uh-huh.
my current thinking is Cynthia Erivo,
Oh,
from
because
Wicked.
Wicked. Okay.
I think that's just because I've seen, like, a lot of her recently on
Okay.
social media and
Okay.
stuff, but she's just a really cool person,
Mm.
and I feel like she like, her outfits and that's so something I'm really enjoying at the moment with wedding cakes is actually styling them around the dress and the suits and stuff, and I
Mm.
feel like it would actually be really fun to
Yeah.
style a cake around one of her outfits.
Oh, that's
I never
awesome.
thought Ariana Grande, but yeah,
Yeah.
Cynthia Erivo is she's just a really cool person. I think
Yeah.
she'd be a really fun client to work with and to, like, come up with a design,
Oh, I love that.
and
Yeah.
yeah, so
That's
yeah.
good. Oh, that's a great answer because she's very fashion forward, so
Yeah,
you have
I
a
think
lot
it
of
would be really fun.
inspiration.
Yeah,
Yeah, and she seems very sweet.
she
So,
does.
yeah, so I think it will be a great client for you. Awesome. We're sending this to the atmosphere. Maybe Cynthia Erivo will listen to the show. I don't think so, but maybe she will. And she can call you and you can make a cake for you, for
Yeah,
her. Very good.
absolutely.
Ruth, it was a pleasure having you here on the show today. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing all your wisdom on social media with us.
Oh, it's
It's a
been very fun.
promise. You have to come back for the pricing part. We will
Absolutely.
make it happen soon. Well, soon. Christmas is coming. The end of the year is a little bit crazy, but we'll try to make it happen at least at the
Yeah,
beginning of 2026 for sure.
absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for everyone listening today.
Yeah.
And my sweet friends, I will leave you as I always leave you. Stay safe and stay creative. I'll see you next time. Bye, Ruth. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hey, cake friend, before you go, if you've been enjoying this episode and you are ready to take your cake business to the next level, I would love to invite you to join the Art Cake Coach Podcast Club on Spotify. Inside, you'll get access to over 17 exclusive audio classes and time management, goal setting, money mindset, and more. Everything you need to feel organized, confident, and balanced in your cake journey. And you will get one more extra class each month. You can unlock it right here on Spotify. Just tap on the link in the description of this episode.